If a rich and troubled Hollywood starlet cries about persecution, the world hears. But should anyone care? Usually not, unless it's to point out how foolish she is. In this case, the rich, troubled Hollywood starlet is Lindsay Lohan. And she's claiming she was racially profiled for wearing a headscarf at London's Heathrow airport. As Lohan was going through security, she was asked to remove the headscarf that she was wearing. If she had refused, she could have simply gone through the big security scanner. No big deal, but she did take off the scarf, and then she went on to complain about it wildly on British TV. Now, I'm not sure why she was wearing the scarf in the first place, and I'm pretty sure I don't care because it doesn't actually matter. I feel this way about literally everything Lindsay Lohan wears. I don't care if she was wearing a hijab or a huska. For some reason, Lohan thinks wearing a scarf suddenly magically changed her from being a rich, easily recognizable Hollywood starlet to some anonymous non-white Muslim woman. Yeah, no, Lindsay, that's not how reality works. That scarf didn't obscure Lohan's identity. I mean, her passport has her name on it. People know who Lohan is everywhere she goes. Lohan wasn't hassled because with a scarf on her head for some reason, no one knew who she was. It's probably the opposite. Lohan was likely hassled because the Border Patrol knew exactly who she was and who they were dealing with. For example, maybe Lohan got some extra scrutiny at the border because she's a recovering, is that the right word? Recovering? Anyways, because she's a recovering drug addict. She spent years in and out of rehab making a public spectacle of it all. Being a high-profile drug addict can be a little bit of a heat score upon entry into a foreign country. Or maybe it was the criminal history. Lohan was in and out of jail on probation violations for years. I mean, she was on probation for 7 years. And her court appearances were well-known, high-profile, and highly publicized events. That kind of stuff can get a person a little bit of grief when going through customs. Or maybe it was this: the adoration and visits with Turkey's journalist jailing, opposition murdering, Kurd-killing dictator Erdogan. Lohan took to her Instagram to say that being welcomed in Erdogan's home was a dream come true. Lohan went there to send, her words not mine, blessings and love to Syrian refugees. But that was after she wrote a poem where she said she wanted to fix the idle minds of ISIS. This is her poem. I cannot help but to want to fix all these idle ISIS minds, because there has to be something I can figure out, rather than living in a world of fear and doubt. They now shoot, we used to shout. Okay, that's not exactly Shakespearean prose, but that's not what should trouble you about her poem. Lohan thinks the problem with ISIS is that they don't have enough things to think about. She says they have idle minds. It's boredom, you see. Maybe they should all try one of those brain training apps on their phones and the crucifixions will stop. Anyway, the love of a murderous dictator and the downplaying of genocidal maniacs should be a real red flag for border agents, even if the troubled drug and criminal past wasn't enough. In fact, I hope that someone who does the stuff and says the stuff that Lohan does gets an extra look at the airport. In fact, it would be a failing of security if she hadn't. It should make us all feel a little better that Lohan was scrutinized at London's Heathrow airport. And all of this really demonstrates how effective crying racism has become for the left. Rich, white, liberal starlets with dozens of other reasons to not be let easily into a country can cry racism and think it's going to work, and it just might. Because according to liberals, doing your job and not giving special treatment to entitled starlets is the new racial profiling. For the Rebel.media, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. At The Rebel, we tell the other side, the side you are not going to see in the mainstream media. To never miss a story, click the link below and subscribe today.